What do you think would happen to the value of your prized coin collection if our government did indeed move to an entirely cashless society? This excellent question comes today from a very dear friend of mine and a fellow YouTuber. He is Culture of Currency, and he has a wonderful channel where he shares incredibly in-depth information on a variety of 1 ounce silver coins from all over the world. So if you haven't done so already, I highly encourage you to check him out. But we're going to answer his question today, or perhaps not answer the question. I'll give you my thoughts. That's possibly a better way to phrase it. Let's begin. So Culture of Currency raised a very valid question and suggested that if we were to take a time machine 20 years in the future and governments were no longer issuing legal tender circulating coinage, what effect could that potentially have on the collector market? Now, understandably, being in the industry, this is a question that comes up time and time again, and it's something that I've thought about quite a bit. And it probably won't shock you, but my general gut feeling is that I wouldn't be surprised if, similarly to the example of the new effigy of King Charles coming out on our coins, if it were announced in, let's say, for example, 10 years' time, the Royal Australian Mint will no longer be producing circulating coinage, and we will move to an entirely digital platform. Now, without getting into all the nuts and bolts of what that could mean for the societal impacts of that, we'll leave that for another video. We're speaking purely about what does that mean for my coin collection. I would suspect, in the first instance, anytime we have a major change to our currency setup, there is a heap of interest and a lot of media attention. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a tremendous influx of people coming into the market wanting to collect up as many coins as humanly possible, whether they're collectible coins or circulating coins. At any rate, I would also imagine that both the Perth Mint and the Royal Australian Mint would still continue to produce collector coins. That is to say, the numismatic programs would continue and we would still see 1 ounce silver coins. I wouldn't be surprised if we still continued to see things like coloured $2 coins. With such large collector demand, I think those type of things aren't going anywhere anytime soon. In the event of a digital cashless society, I still suspect that there would be the production of coins. Perhaps there may be a change if it's no longer required to be legal tender. That may mark the introduction of no longer having a monarch on the coins. They may then move to a more token style production. Although it's a very interesting question. The more I think about it, the more interesting this subject becomes. So I'll probably do this a few times throughout the video, but thank you very much. Anytime I get a question that encourages a bit of thought, I think they're excellent questions. So thank you very much. I'll continue to think out loud and hopefully we get to some sort of resolution. So as I suggested earlier, I imagine that all of pre-existing circulating coins, they won't take on an additional value at the outset, but much in the same way of, we'll take for example, the removal of paper $1 notes from circulation. So in 1984, the Royal Australian Mint began production on the $1 coin, and that was introduced to replace the old paper banknotes. Now at that time, a number of people working in banks and retail and just people in general started to hoard up the $1 notes with the expectation that, well, if these are no longer used, they'll become a collector's item and they'll have a heap of value. That wasn't really the case. You can usually pick up those notes for a little over face value, maybe double or triple their face value. So that wasn't the case. There were quite a few around, and similarly with circulating coins, there'll still be billions of coins around. They just won't be used. So to hopefully address the question directly, what would happen to your coin collection? I suspect nothing major. Ultimately, in the first instance, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a heap of demand all of a sudden and people wanted to accumulate as many coins as possible, because anytime there's a big change, one way or the other, it stimulates a lot of interest in the market and there would be a lot of media attention saying, maybe it's time to start hoarding up 20-cent coins or 10-cent coins because there won't be any in the future. But there are so many out there already, I don't think it would be a big deal. And I would be comfortable in the idea that people that are active and engaged with collecting will still continue on the greatest hobby of all time, and they'll still be collecting coins. Although I think we may see a rapid decline in the news articles that say, check your change at the local supermarket because you may be rich, because that won't be such an issue in the future. I believe the hobby will continue on, and the fact that we have people that are still collecting the old paper banknotes, a lot of the things that are still no longer in circulation now are still actively collected. So I think you will just continue to see people that are focused and love the hobby continue on. And I wouldn't be surprised if the mints continued on, because the demand would still be there for the collector issues. We would just not have circulating currency. But perhaps a video for another day, not something I'm interested in getting in right now. But let me know your thoughts. If we move to a digital society, that is a cashless society, would you lose interest in collecting coins? Or is it something that, it would just change the way that you pay for your coins? I think a lot of people even now still pay digitally for their coin collection, but they want that tangible link to a bit of history. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. Special thanks to Culture of Currency for a wonderful question. I really enjoy this type of thing. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.